What's going on, YouTube? Doc and Sloth, we're back again. We're playing some more ranked Blitz. You guys seemed to like that the other day. We want to keep working. We're actually both grinding towards, I'm on my last achievement. Sloth's working on his last few short-term commitment for me. I know I've done it already. I'm hoping it gets patched, but I'm going to keep trying, working at it, get my dailies. Also picking up some packs before the DLC comes out. Sadly, we did not get it today. I'm hoping we'll get it quickly this week. Although Sketch did put out a forum post earlier today talking about how they had to continue to delay it, which does kind of suck. But, like we've talked before, better to have a game that actually works and isn't completely broken than one that is.
Anytime I see Decimus, I'm 100% certain we're going to see a bunch of spam.
Yep.
That's exactly what we're seeing. I'm not going to do any damage to those blood fuel grunt units.
Yep. Oh yeah. Now, I have seen there is one good way to fight this, is to just kind of constantly harass the points and try to build up your own counter push. Now, I am playing kind of a spammy-ish deck, not nearly as spammy as what these guys got going on. I still think we're going to find ourselves in a little bit of a pickle here.
Well, there goes most of his army. That blast unit did quite well.
Try to go steal A. Also, not letting them get too far ahead is a big pump. Okay, I'm just going to move this unit around. I'm going to be really cheeky with him. Who's under fire? This is the part that I don't like about this. It's going to be the fact that they have these guys here. Try to move my grunt mob. This is going to take a lot of small unit movement here.
Yep. I'm actually finding that setting up a Kodiak in our base is actually working pretty well.
Yep. The fact that this thing is still sustaining life after all of these units are hitting it is what's frustrating me quite a bit here. But that's why the Locusts are super good.
Any way you can push up for that one there?
This one that they're grabbing? Oh, the top one?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the top one. I'm grabbing the top one. I don't know if these guys are distracted enough, but I'm gonna bring these hunters.
All right, looks like we got a hero coming in. Warlord.
Fine.
He's going OP Ridge.
And
Where is my wild jackrabbit?
sorry, we're doing a bad job, as we always do, of actually talking during this. There's a lot of what I would call focusing going on. Need to get 60 energy. Run these guys over here to A. A Mac Blast for you would be huge if you could get it.
I couldn't quite pull it in.
A Prowling Reaper up so that we can push this guy off. That Atrax is getting pooped on by this Warlord, man.
Didn't do as much damage as I hoped it would.
I have like 1 billion energy.
Why do you not get back? Come on, dude. Vulture's just slowly kind of floating back, not really doing much. He's Prowling Reaver on B there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in there as soon as I can. Need these guys to pull up. Push in here.
Wow.
All the way in. I need this to take this in.
Give me all that. Alright. I took most of their cavalry there.
Need to get something.
Use the blast. They're gonna run out.
The sucky part is I'm bringing in a pretty decent army to be able to fight into. If we set up on A.
Can you jump in that? No? No? Cool. Yeah, just don't listen to what I was saying. That's fine. Just the refusal to actually do the input is incredibly frustrating.
Yes, I would agree to that.
I don't know. This still feels like something that's just not viable to break.
Yeah, when they
just
both
feels like a strategy that can't be.
I mean, when they both do it, that's the part that makes it frustrating. Because we had a really good back and forth game earlier. The one thing that they have that's just making this really hard too is they have the blisterbacks, which you have those, and you can set them up on the ridge. I can contest B. I guess a little bit of time, I guess, maybe. Not enough, though. I don't think here. And the problem we're going to have is now we can't push past their army, their group. And so we were playing a game. We played a game right before this, which actually was a really good game. Like really, really good. It was really close, and a lot of back and forth. I was using the same deck I'm using now, which mine is a little bit more on the spammy side, but I like it because it lets you build up, small groups of very diversified units, and I don't know. I mean, that's like that game was 100% polar opposite of what we just saw. Like, it was really fun. It was challenging. Like, we did obviously win, so that obviously makes it a little bit better. But on the flip side, like, it was still a good game. If we would have lost a close game, I'd have been like, man, that was still a good game, and that was a lot of fun. This, however, I don't know. I saw, and I meant to talk to you about this, Sloth, but this is probably a great point. There was a point where in that first game we were playing, you brought in a Mac Blast. You brought in a Mac Blast, I think, on a Scorpion, maybe a Wolverine, and something else. I can't remember. Maybe a Nightingale. And the Mac Blast that you had didn't kill the Scorpion. I think the Scorpion was at full health. I think the Wolverine was close to full health. I was fighting them. And a Nightingale sounds right. And the Mac Blast didn't even kill the Scorpion, which I thought was interesting because they didn't move. It was, I think, probably very close to the center. Obviously, I couldn't see the targeting circle. But and it's one of those things where I think Mac Blast and those abilities would be great in matchups like this. But at the same time, like, if they're micromanaging that huge group of units that they have, and the fact that they slowed down Mac Blast, they slowed down the blast ability, like, you're not going to get any value out of those things. And those were like the hard counters to this strategy specifically.
Yeah, and I mean that's got to be the thing there is if we're going to combat this spam, if we're not going to mess with energy levels and things like that, trapping them in a Mac Blast and getting 7-8 units in the blast, I better be able to kill all them units.
Right.
And it kind of feels like there's like a damage cap almost for how much you're going to be able to do in one blast. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're not talking about units with guard ability here. I mean, they're pretty standard units. So that may be something that kind of needs to be tweaked if they're going to spend some extra time. Like you said, we'd rather they not, but if they are going to, I really hope they're looking into ways of keeping Blitz fun, because just going up against a million different units, not as fun.
And that's the tough part with this strategy is it's a million of almost the same units. It's always Locust. It's always some type of, that's why you see Decimus. You always see the Siphon ability. Because even you guys saw in this little video here I had a pretty large amount of units attacking a single Blood Fuel Locust. I don't remember off the top of my head what level it was or how much higher it was than the units I was taking against. But it took me a long time just to kill that single unit, and I had a ton of units shooting it. And so the Siphon, you see a lot of the Siphon ability, a lot of the grunts, obviously the Locust, and then once it gets a little bit later in, and they did a good job of collecting energy and stuff like that, so they're definitely skilled players. But it's one of those things where once they got a little bit farther in, they put up 2 blisterbacks on that ridge, and I mean, those units are great, and they did exactly what they need to do, but then it almost becomes impenetrable because you can't get anything up to those units, and that large army, that's all they have to do is control. And you could see it even at the end. I was trying to do, and Sloth, we were both trying to do the same thing. We're trying to take points when they leave a point completely open and all that stuff. But even that strategy doesn't work because then they just move their entire army over, kill whatever you just brought in, and it's kind of over from there. And like I was saying, it seems like the Mac Blast and the Blast unit specifically, if they would speed those up to what we saw kind of like in the beta, I think you would trap people a lot more, and you would have it so that those units could be the thing that fights this strategy. And to me, in the original game design in the beta, that's really what it seemed like. We didn't see a whole lot of this, but at the same token, when you really start to think about it, it's those high level, high energy, powers and those blast units that are going to be what stops this. And the fact that they slowed all that stuff down, especially blast to me, the more and more we play with it, the more and more we use it, it's not as viable as it was definitely in the beta. I don't think it's even nearly as viable as it used to be, when this game was, not even 2 weeks old. People start to see it, and that's fine. People will get out of it. But definitely slowing it down, I think, really took away from that ability. If they would speed it up even halfway in between what the beta was and what it is now, I think you would see people having a lot more success against essentially what we just fought.
Yeah, that really seems like Blast and these leader abilities that can just wipe out big armies like that. Those seem to be the really good counters to those, and that's probably why we're seeing such a prevalent meta right now of these just spammy decks because, like you said, Blast has been nerfed a little bit. It seems like things like Mac Blast and stuff like that, uh, it's almost like their damage is capped out. So I don't know. It really seems like this environment has been really one that's allowed the spams to really grow and to really just kind of go unchecked.
Yeah, I think the other thing that would help too is I think one of the only units that we see that doesn't have a huge area of, or doesn't have an area effect minus the ability that can attack multiple units at once is the Vulture. The Vulture can shoot air and ground at the same time. Things like Scorpion tanks, some of your other stuff, your Wraith tanks, now they have a small area of effect. Some of that stuff, if it had the ability to engage multiple units at the same time, I think would also help shift things into a balance where if you were playing, a deck that has some of those heavier costing units, if you run a Grizzly tank into what we just saw, it's going to get absolutely decimated. 100%. It will absolutely get decimated. I think the Grizzly with the missile shot, it might shoot multiple enemies at once, but there's very few larger energy costing units that can attack multiple enemies, and usually not multiple enemies of the same variety. So, it can't hit multiple things on the ground, or can't hit multiple things in the air. And I think that would also help to kind of shift the balance a little bit. And honestly, it almost seems like when you run into what we just played, decks like we just played, having some of those top 300 costing, the Scarab might actually be a great way to do that. Because they're going to zap through a lot of that stuff extremely quickly. They're not going to die. And you can essentially probably wipe out a good portion of that army now. That's also going to come at a huge cost. So it's tough. I know there's going to be some balance changes and some things coming out when the update officially releases, which again, hopefully we'll get sometime soon this week. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But again, I am on the side of do it right. Don't make the game broken like it was going to be. It just sucks that, it's been now essentially two promises is probably not the right word, but them saying twice, hey, we're going to bring it out on this date. We're going to shoot for this date. Hey, we're on track for this date. And now twice we've been pushed back. And ironically enough, as I was reading through the forum post before we recorded, they did not give a specific date of when it will be released. They just said we are really shooting for this week and think we are on track for that. So we can't knock them again if it releases like Friday at like midnight or Friday at 11:59 p.m. But hopefully we will see it shortly. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. You guys really have enjoyed these 2v2 Blitz games, and I can tell you as soon as the update does release, we'll be doing a lot of stuff like we've always done with the channel for that. And me and Sloth are also looking at, we'll continue playing Rocket League. We're also looking at some other games that we might just dip into just for fun, just to chat about some maybe previous games for gold, as well as we're working towards doing something for the new Walking Dead that we have for the second half of this month as well. So just look forward to that. I've been Doc, that's been Sloth. As always, guys, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, comment, let us know, chat down below with what you guys are seeing as far as the ranked meta and what your thoughts on those decks that you saw and what we've been using, as well as any other strategies you've been seeing. Love to connect and chat with you guys and hopefully meet a few more of you online in the ranked arena. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.